Which one's number 80?
79.
Oh, 79. Okay. In demonstrating the authenticity of painting, connoisseurs claim to be guided. What is that word?
Connoisseurs.
Connoisseurs, yeah, claim to be, thank you, guided by emotional impact the work has for them. For example, if a painting purportedly by Rembrandt is expressive and emotionally moving in a certain way, then this is supposedly evidence that the work was created by Rembrandt himself and not by one of his students. But the degree to which an artwork has emotional impact differs widely from person to person. So a connoisseur's assessment cannot be given credence. Credences. Oh my god. And then it's saying which is the most vulnerable. So I took the conclusion to be the last sentence, that the conscious assistance cannot.
And why are we saying that the assessment cannot be given credence? What does that
mean? They're trying to say that that these art connoisseurs they're saying that they're unable to tell if the artwork is authentic or not, because things like expressive and emotionally moving differs from person to person. It's
so, and it's like, okay, so in determining the authenticity of a painting, connoisseurs claim to be guided by the emotional impact the work has on them. And then we're saying like, but they can't, but then we're trying to say like, yeah, but they can't be given credit because the emotional impact differs widely from person to person.
Yeah.
Just because the emotional impact differs widely from person to person, does that mean that the connoisseurs cannot assess these paintings?
No.
Why not?
Because they're the experts.
Yes, but why does that, like, how could, even though emotional impacts differs widely from person to person, how could they still be credible? Like, why, how could that be?
Well, they probably have some kind of like standard or something that like says what is authentic and what is not.
Yeah, or maybe like for each person, no. Yeah, I like that. Like, what I was thinking was, like, even though it varies widely from person to person, like they still know what they're looking for.
Yeah, like an objective perspective into something.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go ahead. Start with A and tell me love it, leave it, or hate it.
The fact that anybody, not just the connoisseur, can give assessment of the emotional impact of the painting. I don't like that, because I think what we're trying to do is find a way how this author didn't consider that the assessment can be given credit, right?
Ignores the fact that anybody, not just a connoisseur. Well, we're not talking. Our issue is not that other people could also do it. What our issue is between, why does this support not guarantee that the connoisseur cannot give credit? So A is a really bad answer. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So what about B?
Is based on consideration of the nature of just one painter's work, even though the conclusion is about paintings in general.
Is that our issue? That it's just talking about one painting?
So I think originally I may have picked this, and I think at the time I was thinking that why did I pick this? I was looking at it as like, they're using one instance to determine like the standard, or not to determine the standard.
Yeah, but that's not our issue. Isn't that we're just talking, like, we're just giving an example here. Like, we're not justifying this whole conclusion based off this example. We're saying like in any situation it couldn't happen because, and our reasoning is because emotional impact differs wildly. It really has nothing to do about what painting it is. That doesn't really matter, right?
Okay. So it was more so irrelevant.
Yeah, I mean, like they're just showing like an example of like for example, this painting could move someone this certain way, but we could replace this painting with any painting. The point we're trying to get at from using the example is regardless of what painting it is, it impacts people differently. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so what about C?
Neglects the possibility that there may be a widespread agreement among connoisseurs about emotional impact, even when the public's assessment varies widely. I think this is what we talked about before. We talked about how, like, you know, they could have gone to some kind of connoisseur school, or there's some kind of standard that they must uphold, or like some kind of objective.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, they still have opinions, but they still have these standards. I like that. So let's leave that one. All right, what about D?
Presumes without giving justification that.
What does that mean? What does assumes without giving justifications mean?
Without giving like reason, or without giving
assumes, right? Like we can literally just replace it with assumes.
Oh my god, why would they put all this extra word for me?
I know why they hate us, but assumes that a painting's emotional impact is irrelevant to the determining of that painting's authenticity. We don't assume that. We actually think that it is relevant.
I'm bad at assumptions too, so that screws me over.
Yeah, so do you see why that answer's choice is wrong?
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. What about E?
Presumes without offering evidence. So is that like
the same thing? Assumes. Yeah, assumes.
Rembrandt was better at conveying emotions in paintings than were other painters. No.
We don't even do that.
No.
And so that is why our answer is C. Yay.
Nailed it.